float a sponge in it so the bees don't fall in and drown. And the bees, I mean, honey is what bees eat. Bees didn't show up on Earth because, you know, there was a good market for honey. The honey they make, they kind of intend for us as the bears to steal it all. That's the source of nutrient during the winter months and during leaner times. And most of these guys that are worried about colony collapse disorders are putting their beehives on trucks, shipping them halfway across the country and feeding them high fructose corn syrup. You know, you can do that with any group of people in the world and you wouldn't have a whole lot of them left by the time you got to the California border.
Right.
Put out some honey water and you get lots of pollinators. And I agree, that's probably one of the big problems with citrus.
Let me say one more thing about citrus, and it's a self-thinning plant. During the flowering stage, it will drop a bunch of flowers. During the stage that it has set fruit, it will drop a bunch of those young fruit. And even as it matures, it will drop some of those fruit also. So it's not uncommon to lose some flowers and some fruit along the way. It happens deliberately by the citrus. And they like to be fed. They really enjoy being fed. So that's another thing to keep in mind. I use, I'll have to say, my Flower Power, the 464 formula from Ladybug, and I'll work that into the soil. And I'll use the fish emulsion along the way, the John's Recipe. And that combination right there gives us high yields up in Austin of an array of citrus, different types of plants. So they can do very well if you feed them, and like Judy gave some comments right there about the light they need in the well-draining soil. But the loss of flowers is common with these plants. So what you want to do is produce more flowers, and you use one of these organic fertilizers like I use the Flower Power.
A lot of the questions have been on more horticultural issues that I think we'll save for another time, like one of the radio shows. One common question, though, that I want to let everybody take just a couple of minutes and talk about is I don't think there's any doubt that the biggest issue facing us in this part of the world these days is water, or more specifically, the lack of. Organics do a lot to help people conserve water. Stuart, you work with farmers and ranchers. I know you've seen a big change. What would you comment about the relationship between water and organics?
That's a very good issue and a very good thing that we all need to work on. There's so much fighting going on water right now that it's scary. We're using more water than we ever have, and we're not making any more of it. It doesn't seem to soak in the ground better, so we have less water that's already in the stratas. There are large farmers or large landowners that are figuring every way they can to establish water rights and to control water rights that someday they're going to be selling. So yes, water is an issue that is extremely important, and we're working with farmers that know that and are trying to find ways that they can utilize their water better. One of the things that we've seen farmers do the worst is to, again, plow too much. Even if a farmer has all the irrigation available to him, it's better to plow a little less, have some more groundwater in your ground so when you plant you don't have to water from the start, and use techniques that will encourage the residue to be left on the ground, which will hold water also. So don't let it all evaporate. Use more organic matter to hold the water. Fertilize in ways that you feed the plant steady. This goes more to the homeowner and the lawns. We've seen that if you fertilize with an organic fertilizer that is slowly releasing all the time, instead of a lot of fertilizer all at once, the plant develops a deeper root system. If you have a deeper root system, you're going to use your water better, and you won't need as much because we have less.
Let me add something on water. I just saw a figure that amazed me. The St. Augustine of Bermuda in the United States of America exceeds the size of the state of Missouri. Folks, what the hell do we need all that grass for? We're not growing it for the cows to eat. Why do we have to have so many extensive lawns? I think Austin may be ahead of us in this group. We need to establish some right so that if you lower the amount of grass that you're growing, you get some kind of a rebate from the city government or something. But we've got to quit having these expanses of lawn that serve no purpose whatsoever.
All right.
I mean, think about that. Grow something. I always joke about this for the few of you that listen to my show. I tell you, if you're not going to eat the damn thing, don't grow it. Now, that doesn't mean you have to eat it, but you can grow a fig for the birds and eat some yourself. Where I used to grow caladiums, I now grow Swiss chard. Where I used to grow morning glories, which are glorious and beautiful, I went to Bob Webster and got New Zealand Malabar spinach. What is that? Which one is it?
Either way.
Either way, and it covers my fence. Now, what do I do with it? I get to eat it. Is it Malabar? I knew there was a difference. But the point I'm trying to make is, when you're going to plant something, why not have it as a multi-purpose? When you have a pretty tree, I talked again, my friend Bob, I bought 3 dozen loquat trees from him because I needed some trees. Well, why not have something that produces something for me or my birds or somebody? Besides St. Augustine, and I'm not anything against St. Augustine or Bermuda, but listen to us. Enough grass to cover the state of Missouri, and it does no good. We need to reestablish the fact, for one thing, you know why it happens? For instance, my daughter lives in D.C. She's not allowed to have less than so much lawn. We need to change those laws. We need to make it so that, incidentally, did you know that in most cities across the nation you can't have a clothesline? It's against the law. Because you can't have your underwear outside in your yard. Folks, we need to reestablish what we've allowed come to us so that we are more free, if that's the word to use, to utilize what we have on an individual basis. Can you imagine to take a lawn, what is the average lawn, 4,000 square feet, and turn 80% of it into a vegetable garden?
Yeah.
Do you have any idea what you could feed? You'd be feeding your neighbors. You can't eat that much Swiss chard. And think about that, and let's get the government to understand, which again we've done with chickens. Right? I go back to my chicken thing. But we have changed the laws, and we can change those laws in our municipalities so that it is acceptable for me to have xeriscaping or vegetables or whatever, rather than acres and acres of useless grass that we put too much poison on that ends up in our rivers, so somebody can have green grass. Now, maybe there's some psychology there I don't understand, but I don't know what the hell it is. I'm done.
Bruce, by the way, your sponsors up for your broadcasting. Yeah. John, what would you add to that?
I was going to say that St. Augustine can be included in the invasive species. If you want. This is a plant from, let's see here, it's Western Africa. This is its native place. But you need a little lawn for the kids. There's a nice place to go out on the lawn and enjoy it. So if you have St. Augustine, you can make it more drought tolerant. You water less frequently, but deeply. You will now get a deeper root system down there, and you also should not mow so low. Many people really mow that grass down low. They may have been in the military at one time, and they want to give it a and so I heard you didn't wear underwear. You brought that up. But so you want to encourage a deeper root system, and you do that by giving it a longer blade. You know, grass is the only plant we cut the leaves off every couple of weeks. And so it's less hardy when you do that, so let it grow tall, and especially in those shade areas. It's one of the few grasses that does well down there. But you can turn it into a drought-tolerant plant. And when people call me on the radio and have a problem with their St. Augustine, I go, good.
Malcolm, you want to add a bit on this?
Yeah, I don't like to play baseball or football on asphalt or concrete. When we started making compost, I tried to get compost on the athletic fields. And the school said, oh no, we can't let our kids play in compost. They'll get infections or diseases. Well, they all told us that, so I went to Trinity University and talked to Dr. Rex Smart.
The Al-Safar Shrine, if you've never been, go. If you've been, I'm sure you want to go back. I'll be broadcasting out there, then I go back a little later in the day to host the Organic Roundtable. But we thought this is one event that we really don't especially want to compete with, because unlike the home and garden shows that are 99% crap and 1/2% home and 1/2% garden maybe, this is 100% flowers. Free parking downtown, you pay $7 to park, and who knows how much to get in. out here you park free and I think pay $5 to get in unless you get a ticket online or something. But anyway, we'll resume the seminars 2 weeks from
What
today.
time is your organic ground?
It's either 1 or 2. They haven't told me yet. We'll find out. Howard Garrett won't be here this year. He opted to stay home and play in a golf tournament. John Dromgoole will be here. Bruce Dooley will be here. Stuart Frankie from Medina will be on the panel. Judy Barrett, that does a little publication called Homegrown, is going to be on the panel for the first time this year. So it'll be a lot of fun, like always. I will stay and answer questions as long as anyone likes, but you're not going to embarrass me if you get up and run off, so feel free. Yes, ma'am.
Bob, are any of these